What's up? Where's the Buzz TV? I'm your host, Christina, and today we are at the New York City premiere of HellBoy. So stay tuned because I have some exciting things coming your way from the movie premiere.
I think Guillermo's HellBoy films were amazing, but they were more Guillermo's vision, and it wasn't particularly sticking to the comic. This one sticks so much to the comic that even Mike Mignola has said that this is my HellBoy, this is what I wrote, this is what I created years ago. And you could literally take pages from the comic and hold it up to the screen, and it will mirror this movie in a lot of the scenes.
And what was your experience like on set with the different cast members?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, David Harbour was such a fantastic actor, and Milla, and really the whole cast was so good that it just brought me up to another level working on screen with them.
Any anecdote stories that you can tell us?
Well, I'll tell you, we shot in Bulgaria, and the day before shooting, I did, it's not called an ice bath where what's it called when you're going and it steams and it's supposed to, not a sauna, no, it's like therapy, it's
I know what you're talking about, but...
Yeah, I can't think of the name. Anyways, the day before filming, I went in it, and it's like a chemical, and I breathed in too much, and I passed out. And the girl opened the door, and I literally fell on the concrete and broke my eye open. And I had like 10 stitches, and I had to go right into that wearing this head, which connected to my eye. So I had to do a film with like a big swollen head, and eventually it healed, but I was worried that was going to be an issue with shooting.
Tell us, how do you connect with the character personally?
Personally, well, he, that's an interesting question. Let me think about this. You know, he wants to get vengeance on HellBoy, and he literally spends every waking day seeking this revenge, and I think all of us have somebody in our lives that we want to really get revenge on. We don't normally do it in an aggressive way, but there's definitely those people that are motivating you throughout your days to, however you do it, to be better or whatever. And I have those people, and my motivation is just to work harder because of somebody, the way they've treated me or whatever. Grugach, not so much. He wants to seek damage. So, yeah.
What can we expect from this film, just to close out? What do you want people to know about this film and why they should see it?
Well, I think that, you know, this film, it's been 11 years since the last one. So I think it's time. It's different than Marvel, even though it's comic book, it's darker. And I think fans need this. I mean, they need that different spin. And it's such an iconic comic, and like I said, taken straight from the comics, unlike the other films, I think the fans are going to love it.
Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, I'm a villainess. I can't say too much because the movie's not out yet, so we'll be surprised. But I'm definitely a bad girl. So.
And how did you prepare for this role of being a bad girl?
It was my first time being a bad girl. I'm usually one of the nice ones, so it was kind of fun, but also challenging, you know, because you really have to make sure that you're not judging your own character.
Right.
But it was great. I mean, it was nice to be a bitch and to let it out.
Now, this film is highly anticipated because people are huge fans of the first two films. What makes this adaptation different from the other two films?
It's a little darker version for sure. Lots of action, lots of fun stuff too. So I think people are in for a fun ride.
And any anecdotes on set about the chemistry with the cast?
I mean, I had a scene with Thomas Hayden Church. I'm a big fan. He's a big actor for me, and I was like, wow, I get to sit in the same makeup trailer as Thomas Hayden Church, and he's, just acting with him. So it was just amazing to be part of the cast.
And why should people come see this film next month? I mean, in a couple of weeks.
It's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of action, a lot of, bad stuff going on, but good stuff. And I mean, David Harbour is such an amazing actor, so how can you not go see it and love it?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Christina, where's the Buzz TV?
Oh, hi.
I like your shoes, by the way. Your shoes look amazing, guys. Check out your shoes.
My statement piece, they call it, apparently.
So, talk about this film. How does the screen adaptation stay true to the source material?
Well, it's a pretty close adaptation of a few of the comics. Like, it's kind of a combination of those comics, but, Darkness Calls. It's sorry, I'm blanking on the names of the comics now, but Sword and Fury and the Wild Hunt. And what really started was like when I saw the Wild Hunt, I thought, what a great inciting incident to show HellBoy kind of like in his element, but at the same time be thrust into a new story. And so we stayed really close to the comic books. And in fact, you know, I was just bragging about this gentleman here, Mike Mignola. I got to work really closely with him when we were shooting in Bulgaria, and I was still doing production rewrites to actually get to do every scene and kind of check with him and go, would HellBoy say this? Would HellBoy do that? And try to do what we thought was like the closest adaptation we could of the material. And I think it worked. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it still has those dark elements that the comics has. And the thing that Mike does best is he takes something from folklore and he just finds a way to modernize it and turn it on its ear. And that's kind of what we tried to do with the movie.
Now, David Harbour is playing HellBoy. Why is he perfect for this role?
David Harbour's not playing HellBoy. That guy actually became HellBoy. I was a little worried about his family. Like, he got so into the role, and like not only did he kind of become the HellBoy from the comics, but he also kind of made the HellBoy from the comics become David Harbour, and it became this really great alchemy of the two. And I just think he was in heaven. He was getting to do the type of role that, like, not every actor gets to do these big Marvel superhero type roles, and especially with like all the crazy makeup, and he's a demon playing a hero and a monster caught between being a man and being a monster. And I just think he just dived into that role so deep. It was like watching magic. Was incredible.
Milla, she's playing the antagonist in the story. Yeah. Talk about that. And we don't usually see her in roles like that. So talk about
No, and I'm a huge Milla fan. I loved all the Resident Evil movies.
Same.
When I had one kid, hi Kenzie, who couldn't come tonight. She has a school trip. And she didn't care about missing my movie. She didn't care about missing Red Carpet. She cared about meeting Milla Jovovich. And she was amazing. And I think, you know, my own experience with film and television has been that, like, the nicest people make the best villains. Like, every villainous actor you've ever met, they're always the sweetest, nicest people in real life. And I think that's Milla. I think because she's so nice in real life, she got to kind of dig her claws into that role as a villain, and she just ate it up. She did such a good job.
And what was it like working with Neil Marshall, the director?
Neil's fantastic. Neil, like, I've been a big fan of his since Descent. And I was one of those guys that when Descent was just a rumor, I was like, I have to see this movie. I'm such a horror movie buff. And I'm also a huge horror movie fan. Like, I will stand in line for horror movies. My poor kids, I have no filter. Like, my 12-year-old daughter's favorite movie is like between The Shining and Hereditary. Please don't tell Child Protective Services that my daughters have seen those movies. And so I think, like, getting to work with him, to me, was, again, as a fanboy, I was super excited. And he's just an amazing shooter. That guy knows how to shoot. He knows where he wants the camera and what he wants the camera to do. He's great at working with actors. He just did an amazing job. And this is different. This is kind of a different movie than any of us have done before. And so it's great to see all that kind of come together and make for a good movie.
And this film, it introduces sorcery and all types of magic and things in it. Why did you decide to put that into the film?
I'm a genre guy. First off, I'm a believer in magic. I believe in Santa Claus. To me, magic is real. And if the magic in your life goes away, like, you got to fight to get it back. And so I love imbuing my movies and my stories with those elements. I always think you can really get into the most simple human stories by kind of like putting them in worlds that are fantastic. And that's what I want to do with this. That's what drew me to do the movie originally, was I knew I'd get to tell a very human story that happened to be told through the eyes of someone that's inhuman. And that way you only are going to focus on the character elements and not on everything else. And it was just a unique type of action hero to delve into. So I was excited.
Now, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Any superpower? Oh. I mean, flight's tough to pass on. It's flight. And I mean, seeing me fly over the city, that's got to be a joy for others as well. And then maybe invulnerability. Although the game geek in me wants to say the ability to control molecules, because then I could do it all.
Yeah.
If I could control the molecular structure of things, I could do everything. So that's my official answer, but the simplistic answer is probably flight.
And one last question: why should people go and see this film?
Because it's awesome. It's fun. And it's kind of like, even though it's rated R, it is kind of for everybody. Obviously, it's a little gruesome, And if your children haven't seen Hereditary or The Shining, maybe don't take your 12-year-old. But it's just a lot of fun, and I think in a world where there's a ton of superhero movies that I all love, I love this genre so much, it's a different type of superhero. It's a supernatural superhero movie. It's the bad guy is the good guy, or at least he's the best good guy we're going to get. And to me, that's what makes this movie somewhat different from a lot of the other movies that are out there.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you so much. Your dress is beautiful, by the way. You look fantastic.
Your shoes are just unmatched.
Thank you. Well, nothing can compare to those.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think that the way we approached it. How did I approach the role of HellBoy?
So what were you asking me?
What was I?
So what was it like working with
Always stealing my thunder. Constantly stealing my thunder. That's the experience. She's terrific, by the way. She's terrific in the movie. She really is so smart too. Like she brought so much to the movie. Was so enthusiastic about it. So I'm so happy to have worked with her. In terms of HellBoy himself, it was really about this, this core identity struggle of like, what defines us? Is it our base impulses? Is it our genetics? Or is it our conscious decisions? And that was like the big thing that I wanted to explore.
And one last question, why should people see this film?
Because it's super fucking fun. And it's just like a lot of fun monster stuff. I mean, there's laughs, there's like scares, there's horror, there's gross, gory stuff, but I had a blast watching it. I just think it's a really good time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So talk about your role in the film and how you approach this role.
I play a character called Ben Daimyo. He's a military guy who now is the head of special ops for a monster fighting agency, basically. And Ben is not only fighting monsters, but he's also one himself. And so he's got to come to terms with his own nature and become a good teammate to HellBoy and all the other people that he's working with.
What was it like working with David on this film?
It was really good. He's a pro, and he really took his role very seriously. It was really a pleasure to watch him work.
Any anecdotes from your on-set experience?
I would just say that, just seeing David every day in that costume and the makeup and seeing him like already taller than he is was really jarring and really set the scene right away.
And why should people see this film?
Sorry?
Why should people come out and see this film?
I think of it as a roller coaster ride. There's action, there's a little bit of violence, so you got to be okay with that. There's humor, and there's some really good performances to boot.
Thank you so much for chatting with us.
You got it.
What can we expect to see in this HellBoy film?
To be perfectly honest, I haven't seen the film yet. So I guess I'm in the same boat as you are.
So tell us about your role in the film.
I play a character named Ganada, who is a witch from a very long lineage. And, she's kind of a catalyst in the film, I guess, in the sense that she deals with morality and making choices that affect lots of people. But I haven't seen it yet, so I'm kind of excited as much as you are.
And how did you prepare for this role of playing a witch?
I did lots of reading, so much reading. And my character is very mystical, so I did a lot of kind of just rituals and understanding the way that these women lived. And, historically it's very interesting. There were strong, wonderful women who were healers. And so it was kind of a badass energy to inhabit and to study for a few months.
Talk about the chemistry amongst the castmates here on set. There are a lot of such strong women in this film, so talk about that chemistry.
Oh, it was incredible. I got to do a lot of my scenes with Milla, who is a young veteran, but she's such a professional and she's so imaginative and aware, and she's such a kind of mother on set, and also very, she's communicative and she'll teach you things, and for me, that was just such an amazing gift. But yeah, it was also really inspiring, and Sasha's a badass as well. It was just, it was a fun time.
And one last question, why should people come out to see this film?
Why should they come out? Oh, gee. They should come out because it's fun to have imagination.
Thank you so much.